Good morning. Hello, everybody. So, I'm excited to be here and get started today. If you notice, I have different webcam on and I have different project on. Um, so let's, I wanted to be able to kind of jump in and get something prepped for print. It's been a while since I have printed something. And I have a few things that I want to be able to print. So that's kind of my hope for the next little bit on ZBrush Live is to be able to go through and prep something for 3D print. Now, before we get jumping into that, I'll introduce myself a little bit. I'm Steven Anderson. For those of you who don't know me, hello, you unfortunate event. Hey Harding, how you doing? JW Harding, that's pretty cool. It's a strong username. Uh, yeah, yeah. So a little bit about me before we get diving into this too hard. I'm Steven Anderson. I am a senior character supervisor on Overwatch, and I love what I do. I have a lot of fun. I also teach at Gnomon. Yeah, I mean, life is just a box of chocolates. And I pick all the chocolates. I love chocolate. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Let's get into this. Give me a second. All right. For anybody who is along the Baja Peninsula or Southern California, stay safe with all the tropical storm, hurricane weather. Uh, be safe out there. Yeah, we're expecting the rain to start here. Um, it's beginning tomorrow morning. Yeah, I don't like this particular material. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting it into something else so that I can, yeah, think I can feel the volumes a little bit better there. Okay, so the idea, let's see if I can get this to sit in a way that's comfortable for me. I got to keep my head in a specific area or else like I move out of camera very easily. Leaning back isn't so bad though. I can lean back. I just can't like lean forward too much. So I've got to have my Cintiq like close enough that I'm not leaning out of frame. Oh yeah. And for anybody interested, um, the ZBrush Sculpt Off. The live ZBrush Sculpt Off for 2023 is now open for registration. Anyone, anywhere using any version of ZBrush can participate. Practically anywhere. Oh, hey, you too. That's unfortunate that you can't stay. But it's okay. This will be available as a video on demand on YouTube later, so it should be fine. All right. So to be able to get her prepped for 3D print, let's talk about a few basic general principles when dealing with 3D print. Sorry, that was like crazy zoom. Okay, first thing first, there needs to be like proper thickness so that things aren't too frail. So like a lot of these wispy hairs, we're going to have to come up with a solution for that. A lot of these I'll probably just end up taking out or thickening up so that they're more, you know, thickening out, laying down, however I end up doing that. Or there's another thing that like my buddy James Marsano does, where he'll go through and he'll make like a specific piece that's, you know, all the thin wispies, and um, he'll essentially like print them out separately so that he can print them and then lay them on. It's it gets pretty intricate and it's pretty cool. Jack of all trades, can model a potato in pretty much any software. Is there a potato category? There's definitely there's probably room for a potato. Why not? Why not? Okay, so a few things that I want to start trying to do. Okay, there are a few areas where I'd like to. Well, I mean, let's see. Let's actually come in here and say let's turn off all the color. I want to make sure that I'm also, as I'm prepping this, I want to refine it from every angle. I want to make sure thicknesses are good. I want to make sure that that I can kind of cut this up in certain ways. Like for instance, like when we're talking about like James Marsano hair and stuff like that. Like I've got these long strands of hair coming out in front of the body. I'm going to want to have that as something separate from the rest of the hair. So I mean, I can start going through and bookmarking. I'm going to say polygroup. I'll say island if I can find island. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that'll be a group that kind of comes off. And who knows? Let's go ahead. Let's make a new group for this stuff right here. I'm just trying to kind of plan ahead, if you will, so that I can have. Here, let's put this in with that. Where does that go to? Okay. Cool. Same thing. So to be able to get a different poly group, I'm just pressing and holding with the face selected, and then I'm hitting Alt, and I can hit Alt as many times as I want to before I let go, and it'll give me a different poly group. So it's insanely helpful. I love doing that. I love that functionality and everything that they've given us in ZBrush. It's so flexible. I might split this up further, but for now that's probably all right. The idea is to have it so that I have different hair sections that can kind of like key into the head. This is going to take a ton of work to prep for print, so I'm not going to worry too much about digging into that per se. I don't know why that brought the color back, but turn it back off. Hey, Leonard. Your family feeling any better this week? Okay. Then let's kind of dig into this hat a little bit, because we're going to want to make sure that it has a decent thickness. One of the easiest ways to be able to prep something with thickness, let's kind of check and make sure we only have the one side. Looks like we're good. Control W. One of the easiest ways I've found to be able to prep something with thickness is to kind of separate things out into polygroups, and then to be able to like mask and control things manually as we're going along. It's like this hat. The hat needs more resolution, period. But you know, it's fine enough for now. In fact, I do kind of like having it as if it's flying off of her head a little bit. It's kind of fun. Then I want to check the brim around the outside. It's like if we check it with the smoothing, it's going to look thin, but then it's going to hopefully get thicker as it gets in toward the center. So that's the hope, that's the plan. It just doesn't feel quite thick enough, period. So we're just going to give it a little bit more girth. Oh, that's good. Glad everybody tested negative. Almost everybody has tested negative. Okay, so getting close, I guess. I'm doing pretty well. Life is good. Oh, for this hat, I don't need it to be a long, hollow hat. In fact, here, let's go ahead. I'm going to say, let's grab this. I'll say polygroups, auto groups. And then I'm going to have it maybe hollow up to here. So we'll do something like that. And then if we take this now, I'm just going to come over here and say close hole, convex hole, polygroup flat. This will make it so that we have like all the points kind of converging to the center in here. Just nice and easy. All right. Would you look at that? Yeah, let's go ahead and like lower our intensity, and we'll just kind of get a little bit of that to kind of smooth out some. See, like from this angle, it's just going to look like it's the hat going back. It's not a really big deal, but we do want the hat to be, you know, nicely controlled and whatnot. Things like these tips, when we're prepping things for 3D print, we don't want things to be overly sharp because they'll become brittle and they usually won't turn out super amazing. So, I mean, you want to think about like how things are going to look in the real world, and this is like not cooperating with me at all. I'm going to have to model something a little bit different for this. It might be a matter of like taking this off and then we'll say delete hidden, say close holes. So now we've got this instead, which, you know, for 3D print, this will work just fine. But you can see like now I've got this rounder end, and it feels a little bit more like it's made out of cloth. It feels a little bit more like it's made out of something soft. Whereas before it looked a little bit more like it was made out of something fabricated, something very not soft. Okay, I'm just gonna try to control some of my shapes in here. I mean, you can see how thick that hat brim is getting. Okay, but I want it to be pretty thick so that I get the appearance of it being made of some sort of thicker material. Okay, so that's working out pretty nicely. I am trying to look at this and decide, like, there might be a case for adjusting the pose a little bit. She almost feels like she's lost a little bit of her length. But I mean, if we go through and turn off her hair, you know, if I can find the hair, I don't know, somewhere, select it, hair. Oh, she looks pretty good. So the hair is like makes it really easy for her to get lost. Turn that back on. Cool. Okay. So another thing that I'll have to go through and kind of build out or refine or something. This all this it's all very thin and wispy. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this. Let's start off just kind of thickening it up and see if it gets us. That could maybe work. Let's kind of get this a little bit more hefty so that it feels like it's, yeah, that might be like too much. Here, let's see if we can kind of smooth it out. By the way, this is not going to be like a one-day project. This will probably span. I do kind of want to shift my stream to focusing on more like the prepping things for 3D print. Since I have like a ton of stuff that I want to actually print. And I have a partnership with Formlabs, so I want to be able to kind of utilize them and work with them and being able to get some cool stuff done. And I feel like this is a good time for me to be able to get things done for that. Thanks, Roger. A 3D mouse is a good investment for something like ZBrush. It can be. If you get used to it, it takes a while to get used to. The hard thing for me with 3D mouse is that the navigation isn't the same across different platforms, and even if you make it the same in different platforms, it's still really hard to get used to. It's not the I don't know. I wasn't able to get used to it very well. So I'm planning on practicing with it more, and then hopefully getting good at it so that I can see whether or not it's something that I want to recommend. And then they actually sent me a 3D mouse. 3D Connection sent me a 3D mouse that I can give away, do a giveaway with that if I felt so inclined. So yeah, and that's kind of a future hope and plan for you. So keep an eye out on like different art contests that I'll put out. I did try to do one last year, but then there was just like I just ran out of time. I had a everything was prepped and ready, and it was just I had even published the contest, and um, they told me that I had spelled something wrong, and I just didn't have time to fix it. So I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it next time. I'll fix it next time. They are very particular with their branding, which that's fine. It's their name, it's their product. I'm trying to be sensitive to that, but it's yeah. I think at some point what I'll want to do is I'll probably merge this together and then try to simplify the shape. Right now it's really fussy. It has a lot of different different pieces that don't really feel like they. It's just not. It doesn't feel clean and stylized. It just feels like it's there, and I don't want it to feel like it's too crazy. And I don't know. Maybe it's a matter of just eventually, instead of making it feel like a mop, because I don't want it to feel like a mop. I want it to feel like straw. I might have to just go through and design something different for that. Um, Different things like the legs, like for instance, the shoes. I'll make the shoes their own piece. I'll make the leg up to the stocking edge here its own piece, and then I'll probably make the legs their own piece here as well, so that they can kind of like key into the skirt. I'm going to have to work on this skirt to make sure that it's fitting around the broom handle nicely. Things like the gloves. The gloves will be their own piece, each side. Okay. Although this area down here, this hand, this arm, I may have to like split the arm like right there in that crease or something like that, so that way it's in a hidden spot. And then I'll just make this hand so that it is part of the broom handle. The owl's going to have to key on. Lots of things to kind of work with on this. Voice commands through Windows for ZBrush. I've never heard about that, so I wouldn't know. Let me see. What would you do to give the illusion she's floating over a base? Here, let me actually grab something real quick because I can show you something that I have where I did something to make it floating. Okay, let's see. Webcam view. Oh no, where's the webcam view? Hold on. Let me get this. Let me get this working because this is supposed to. Come on. Open the source. Okay. Well, that worked. Why did that one work? Golly. We'll just use this one then, because that's what I'm able to get to work at the moment. Okay. So this is Sweet Tooth. Nah, it's so hard to see. It's so hard to see. It's like dark on dark on dark on dark. Um, yeah, let me see if I can get this to. Good grief. Because, like, the Logitech webcam is the one that's actually working for me during the stream right now. Yeah, let's go ahead and see. That's hidden, that's hidden. This is not hidden. Yeah, it's like that's literally the only thing that should be showing. That is so weird. Oh my goodness. Hold on. This should not be happening. Yeah, screen is black now, and it's because the source isn't working, and I'm trying to get it to work. So yeah, it should just be a moment. I mean, it shouldn't be happening at all, but you know, it's like, let's see. Trying to look for video capture device, add source, add a new source instead. Good grief. Here, let me go back to here. Maybe I can add in that same source that I just created. Nah, it doesn't want to do it. I wonder if maybe it has it like in the wrong place. No, it doesn't have it in the wrong place. That is so weird. Oh well, I guess I I guess I won't do it then. Maybe I have pictures of it on online. Let's check and see if we can kind of pull this up. By the way, for anybody who's interested, here I'll just set Sweet Tooth to the side. He'll keep me company at my desk for now. This is a link that'll allow you to find all my links. So it's a fun thing. Let me see. Does ZBrush work well for making a file usable for a 3D printer? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I use it all the time. All my 3D print stuff, it all went through ZBrush. um, Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and jump on. What was I doing? Art. Let's come over here. ArtStation. Here, you know what? Let's smartest.com. Like I'm trying to think. It's like, where am I trying to go? Let's go to character portfolio. And if not there, we should be able to find ArtStation store or not the store, but the so there's Sweet Tooth. Let's click on ArtStation. I don't know if I have images or video of this guy as a print on here yet. I did make him though through the ZBrushLIVE. It was really fun. It was a couple years back for Valentine's Day. It was a really fun character to work with. It was a blast. I had so much fun. I had so much fun. And the idea was kind of almost like this anti-Cupid sort of idea. He's made out of chocolate. He's a golem. And he's made to hex people found in gluttony and self-centeredness on the day of Saint Valentine. You know, it's like he's a fun little character. But essentially, what I did with the 3D print is I gave him a hole like right in the bottom of his, like between his legs, so that I could put this this acrylic rod up in there, and it's a see-through rod, so it doesn't obscure the view too bad. I mean, there are other ways to be able to handle that, but essentially, yeah, I just got like this acrylic rod going through, so that he's floating. It's really pretty nice. It's a fun little piece, and it's fun to have sitting around. um, it's logged into my work. internet. So we'll do that. That's a little bit better. Get rid of the work internet. I wish that like it wouldn't. I made the baby with the arrow. Yeah, that's all me. The design, everything. Um, it was very, very loosely inspired by a thought that a friend gave to me. I can't remember which friend, but somebody had given me some sort of prompt, and I was like, okay, I know where I'm going to take this. And so I took that and just went wild with it, just so wild. It was a hoot. It was a hoot. But yeah, uh, sweet tooth, everybody. Yeah, the formatting is kind of off on this, and it's not even showing all the pictures. That is so rude. I'm gonna have to go ahead and fix that at some point. Yeah. That's really why we stream, is so that we can notice when our websites are not right. 3D printing on clothes. Ooh. Yeah, so one of the things that I thought of that I'd like to do at some point, which I thought is just absolutely hilarious. I love there was this pop-up shop at my local mall one time, and they had um, what's it called? They had these 3D printed shoes, and they were incredible. Like they were these insanely um, intricate, detailed masterpieces. It's insane. Ooh, Leonard, I love that idea. Make it a wall mount instead. That's nice. That's nice. I like that idea. I'm gonna have to remember that. I'm gonna make note of that. In fact, I probably should have done that with Sweet Tooth too, but but the hard thing with Sweet Tooth is that here, let me kind of pull him up again. Um, Come here, you. Let's go back into here. We'll go back into here. I should have just left it up, but I didn't. Um, the thing with Sweet Tooth is that he has something to see from all different sides, and so it's like, meh. Yeah, he's a fun one though. He's a fun one. He's got his little booty too. You know, that was fun. I'll leave this up for now, just so that we can have the reference again if we need to pull it up again. Uh, cool. Wall mount. That's a perfect idea. That's a fantastic idea, Leonard. I appreciate that. All right, let me see. Oh, that's true. Some sort of reflective piece. Is it best to, let me see. Is it best to use Z-sphere when designing bodies? I don't ever use Z-spheres actually. Um, I have used them in the past to be able to design something that's um, kind of organic and not very, I don't know, like something that's not very, like, it's just for fooling around. Um, I don't particularly like Z spheres, but I do know that there are a lot of people that'll use them to create a base mesh. People will use it to create a rig to be able to pose their characters. the way that I use Z-spheres from time to time, since they rolled out the feature, is to be able to create curves, um, to use to be able to use curves, like to be able to make a rope that's tied around something, to be able to make a chain that's going a specific direction or creating a specific gesture, um, different things like that. But you know what? Let's see. Okay, this right here needs to have certain creases. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to give this, say, polygroup all. So that way we've got this going on. And then polygroup a single poly, just to make sure this is something completely different. I don't know why everything keeps going back to having the color turned on. That's really quite not nice. I'm going to come over here and say geometry, crease. I'm going to say crease PG. So now when I smooth it out, oh, you know what? I'm going to want to make sure that that and that. Now say crease PG. Now it's going to uphold that shape. So now when I look at it like this, it's going to look more like a finished heel for a shoe. The thing that slowly erodes my sanity. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like there's so much to think about. And I got to think too about like the scale that I want to have her at. I think I want to do her kind of, I don't want to do her too big. It's like I don't have my mermaid by me anymore, but something like this is probably pretty typical for, and just looking at her, she'll be like, oh gosh, I don't even have my measuring tape with me anymore. It's in my other purse. It's kind of the nice thing about having like a face mic is that I can turn my head and you guys are going to hear me the same amount no matter which way I'm facing. Before I had one of those hanging mics, um, which is kind of nice, but it's because I hate having things on my head. I would much rather be able to just have have my head free and my hair flowing in the AC and all that sort of stuff. But I can't do that with a hat, and I can't do that with a whatchamadig it. Okay, so that's going to be that for now. It's a little bit too hard. So let's come over here and we'll say 2, and then we'll say dynamic subdiv. We'll push this up to 3, maybe 4. Now, with a piece like this, the nice thing with this is that I can take these pieces and I can already make them solid. So let's go ahead and grab that. We'll grab that. Just Control W to be able to do that. In fact, we don't even need it to have it at all anymore. Say delete hidden. And then we'll say close. Oh, and then we can say minimal resolution. Or we could just change the resolution. I guess it doesn't have minimal resolution. It has the resolution slider now. It's just bringing this down. The thing that I want to be able to do is that at some point I'm going to take these and I'm going to make them, I'm going to join them together with the stockings, and then the stockings all together are going to cut out of the leg. So everything's going to get Boolean together, and it's going to create this this nice flat surface that then I'll be able to use for um, um, creating my keying surfaces and things like that. Um, you can see I've already got some some frill going around here. I'm going to want to vary this up so that it's not so same. So this is going to take like a lot of work, but it's definitely going to be one of those things that's super worthwhile. Because otherwise, it's going to feel like you can already feel like the difference. This feels very organic. It feels very um, yeah. It's kind of push and pull this a little bit more. Something, make it so it's a little bit more disheveled and whatnot. But then this feels very almost machined. So it's like, this is kind of the thing that we're looking for, the thing that we're searching for. And then with this, we can go through, we can change our thickness to maybe 0.002. And I'm not looking for it to like feel like nice thin lace when I'm up at this sort of distance. I'm looking for it to feel about right from this sort of distance, because at that thickness, it's just a little bit too thin. It doesn't create the change in surfaces like I'd like. So I need to kind of, in fact, I might need to make it so that there are fewer changes. Um, I'll have to go through and think about that lace at some other point, because that's definitely going to be a problem point. This tie going around like this bow on her waist. Um, it might be something that well, it'll certainly be something that'll have to be printed apart, like cut out from the body and things like that. Um, and it might end up having to be um, I'll say practical, like a practical bow. It's like using actual ribbon. I'll have to see kind of what it is that I can figure out with that. Yeah, most everything that I'm kind of going through with this right this second is figuring out. It's figuring out what I can do, what I can get away with, what I need to do to get started, sort of thing. It's kind of getting the lay of the land, if you will. Here, it's kind of push and pull this a little bit. This owl is it's super fun, but it's also kind of messy. Like he's not the most I definitely didn't do my best work with him, but he's there. He's represented. Just gonna kind of thicken that up so that it's not gonna get lost. .3D print prep is where fun goes to die. Brainstorming and Boolean time now. Yeah, I would definitely separate the broom for strength. I would make that practically rather than 3D print. Yeah, possibly. Um, I think that's probably a good point. You can probably get like a piece of brass and hammer it out so that it's got the right shape. I would, if I did that though, I'd probably have to get like a good make a peg on here, like on the piece of brass, and then I'd like have to like solder it on. I have to figure that out. Let me see. Focal length that I'm using. I'm just using whatever is default. Like it's at 50 right now by default. It's not really like anything fancy. I'll switch from time to time from having it on and having it off. But yeah, I do want to have her not looking down so much. I want to kind of angle her more, that she's looking more forward. Because I feel like I'd like to kind of open her up a little bit more. Right now she feels a little bit too closed. So let's do this. I'm going to say, let's go into Transpose Master, T-Pose Mesh. Now, this is a trick that they didn't advertise with, let me see if I can remember where it's located at. The pose, I can't even remember what it's called. Proxy pose. There we go. Proxy pose is a really nice tool. Because it allows you to reduce your model down, pose it, pull it back out of proxy pose, and then yeah, here like we can go through and just kind of like slide this all the way over. Okay. Now, I mean, all we can see, that's kind of actually fun, like how that looks. There we go. Send that to print. Essentially what I want to do is I want to take all the hair, I want to take the hat, I want to take the flame. And then I want to take all this through here. Okay. That might actually be like way too... Here we go. Let's kind of come up here. I'm just trying to kind of open her up a little bit more. Oh, it did totally screw it up. Here, let's undo to the point of not having the proxy pose. It's like it might just be that it was like I might have had it like reduced too much. Grab the earrings, grab the necklace, grab the eyes. Oh good, it looks like I've got eyelashes. I don't see eyebrows, so we'll have to see what we get. Take it out of proxy pose. Okay, so it looks like a couple of pieces got left behind. I'm trying to decide how to feel about it. I'm not liking what I'm getting here. So I'll just kind of keep it without the proxy pose. it's a really great tool. It's just one of those things that like for those little fussy bits, it's not going to work as well. So let's do this. I'm going to do the same thing like we did with the proxy pose, but I'm going to do it without the proxy pose. Get those. Let's grab these eyes. Let's maybe keep it above the chest. And my thinking is that I don't want to affect the lace going down the corset as much. Let's go ahead and mask all that out. Again, just trying to open her up a little bit more. We'll have some things that we'll have to kind of fix and refine here, but it shouldn't be too bad. Like you can see, we're getting a little bit of a departure from like this this trim, but it's not too bad. Some of these pieces it might be better to just fix in the main file instead of trying to fix it here, but we'll. There we go. Okay. Here, let's kind of hide this hair so we can see what's going on. Let's kind of pull the trim up over the top of the chest so it's not going through the skin. Just going to try to like modify this shape so that it feels a little bit cleaner. Okay. So now let's take this. I feel like this opens her up just a little bit more, and that makes her feel a little bit more approachable, a little bit more appealing. So we're just going to kind of pull that up. And of course, everything's getting its color back, as I don't want. Since this is prepping for 3D print, I think let's just actually go ahead and entirely get rid of color. I don't need color anymore. Let me see. Let's say Z plugin. Let's go to Subtool Master. We'll say Fill, Color and Material. And we'll just work on things like this now so that I don't have to worry about the color coming back and ruining your day. You could filament print the broom. Could. I think I like the idea of kind of using the metal. I should be able to. I'll say stain, but stain isn't really quite the word. I should be able to use like different like patinas or something like that to make it so that the like the brass rod, whatever I use to hammer out to make the handle. I should be able to use like different patinas to make it so that it's very matte, so that it feels like wood. I just gotta learn that a little bit more. Okay, so we got this. Cool. I'm gonna say save. In fact, let's turn off all of that. Let's hide the hair. The hair's always kind of in the way. Let's turn that off. And we're not going to try to think about the hair yet. Like, not for a while. And try to fix some of these straps here. Well, some of, like, these straps. There are only 2 straps. Smell like eggs. It's probably, like, I like eggs, but it's one of those smells that just permeates throughout the house. This necklace, I'm going to have to kind of refine its shape and how it's hitting this neck, because it's not. One of the things, like we were talking about with the thigh, I'll do the same thing with the collar here, with this necklace here. Let's turn off the hat so we can see things a little bit better. I'll do the same thing with this choker. I'll essentially, make it solid so that it's going through the neck, and then it'll be used to kind of separate out the head from the base of the um, the neck. These will be something that I'll go through and I'll actually make separate, and I might do a similar sort of thing with this as well, like getting some sort of wire and just kind of like hammering it out, like a straight piece of wire, hammering it out the corners so that it gets thinner, and then I'll bend it to be able to make this possibly. I'll have to do something like that for the earrings as well, because these earrings are definitely not going to work. I do have. I mean, I don't have anything that thick. Oh, I think I have them downstairs. I don't have them up here anymore. I do have like little rings, but this is something I'd probably have to be made with maybe like a thin piece of wire. Make the pieces come through. These pieces will just be surface detail. It should be fine. It should work out just fine. Let's see if we can get this to feel a little bit cleaner. I'll probably have to thicken that detail up too. Maybe. As you can see, like it's definitely not going through as much as I'd like. So one of the things that I'll have to do, and I gotta try to figure out. Yeah, this might work. Yeah, it looks like that'll work. You can just hide the backs. I wonder if it'll work for all of them, but we'll see. Yeah, it's working for all of them so far. Okay, cool. So what we'll do, we'll grab all these. Oops. Say Control W so that they're different polygroups. We'll invert. We'll Control A. Invert our mask. Bring back our character. And I'm just going to like pull that straight back and in. And now literally what we have is just, I mean, we gotta tweak it and refine it, but it's, you know, it's going to be without a doubt connected to the body. I don't have to worry about this not going and being connected the way that I need it to be. I do want to grab this. You know what? I'm gonna pull this over so that this is on the corset surface, and we'll have to fix the lacing too, but that shouldn't be too difficult. And let's give this like a little bit of a boost too, just like inflate just one or two, just one. Oh, not even that. It's like just one is like way too thick. Mm. Yeah, because like I want it to be like just half of that. So maybe it's just a matter of coming through here with like a really big inflate brush. Let's try that and bring it down to like a really woo. That feels better. I'll keep that. It's like it's always a matter of just experimenting and pushing and pulling until something sticks, right? Oh, I lowered that intensity, that's why. Okay. By the way, if anybody has questions, feel free to ask. What happened to Pancake Man? Okay, do you want an update on Pancake Man? Let me show you. Let me show you Flapjack real quick because I'm actually really happy with where he's at right now. Flapjack. In fact, here let me pin this to quick access so that I can get to it later. So here's where he's at. And he'll be a project for 3D print as well at some point. But I was able to go ahead and finish connecting his body in inside of Maya. I was able to create UVs so that now I can go ahead and I can just start sculpting on him and make him the way that I want. Um, and then he'll have textures and things like that. He's he's really fun. I still need to, for him, I still need to create. Let me bring up the. Here's the. Um, here's the concept that I made. I need to rework these eyes, the egg part of it. Um, yeah, I need to make sure that this is making the right shape and all of that, um, but yeah, I mean, so far he's turning out all right. I do need to refine the shape of the egg whites from what I have here. I feel like this one on this side is not going to work for me, but this one over here feels like it could work just fine. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The bacon hair is going to be fun. The bacon hair is definitely going to make his head feel more balanced. And then getting that cream and the strawberry to feel the right size, that's going to be paramount. Just absolutely paramount. In fact, here's what we can do. We can grab... Oops, I didn't want that. I wanted this little guy here. Take this and just shift it around and needs to be like a lot bigger and a lot heftier in order to feel balanced with the rest of the head. Okay, that maybe got like way too out of control. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like there's a lot to it, and getting it to feel right. In fact, maybe there's a world where there's like a drip kind of coming off the back here. I don't know. Like it's all about kind of pushing creativity and just having fun. So something like starting to be something. It's one of those things that this is going to have to be heavily sculpted in order for it to work. You sucker for bacon. Yeah, it's fun. Like I'm not a huge fan of bacon, but there are some ways that I really like having bacon. I don't like it by itself, um, most of the time. There are certain types like I like it with baked potatoes. I like bacon with like bacon and maple donuts. Have you ever tried those? Those are really good. There are these there's a donut place here local that does these cronuts that are phenomenal. And these cronuts have like a maple glaze with bacon bits on top, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It totally surprised me. It was not something I was expecting to like at all. Um, but I did, and now I'm here. I do kind of want to streamline that hand shape down a little bit. He needs a good booty. Anyway, so this is Flapjack. This is where he's at. Um, I mean, I kind of blocked in the little strawberry bits on top. That needs to go like a long way for it to. Mike May art. It's like your username was like so similar to the color of the background. I was like I can't tell who that is. Yeah, it's a fun concept, and it stems off of the idea of like I was telling you with earlier with Sweet Tooth. How we have Sweet Tooth. How this is the first food demon. Um, in fact, I don't particularly care for. Ooh, an art blast from Jedi Survivor. Cool. Um, Muhammad Ali's on here, huh? Wow. I mean, I know boxing is an art form, but over here to look at it here. How about now? Okay. I was there talking and like nobody was saying anything, so I was like, "What's going on?" I have her printed as well. So, uh, they were a series of food demons, inspired by food. Some of them made from food. Um, this is pumpkin spice. So yeah, let's see if I can kind of, yeah, I've her 3D printed as well. She's a lot of fun. I do need to go through and kind of post more to this particular page because I've got a lot of things that I've done since that particular post. um, like for instance, I have Sushiyama here. Sushiyama is, you know, a sumo wrestler made out of sushi. It's this is kind of fun. Um, it's like there he is with his coat on. Is this the coat was something that was I did as part of a demo for my class that I teach at Gnomon. Um, oh, you know what? I was trying to actually go through the different pictures. So there he is without his mask. I have entirely too much fun playing with these characters. Um, thanks, dude. Yeah, so anybody who wants to be able to find this page, it's really pretty simple to find through my link in bio, but there's the link just in case. Um, oh, here's like a little bit of like 3D printing. So yeah, that's where I have pumpkin spice at. But yeah, it's all super fun. It's all just like my fun side project. I have salt and pepper. Uh, and they're going to be really fun once I go through and finish them out. But yeah, they have different outfits. So like I've got a workout outfit. I've got cheer outfit. different ear piercings. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. Um, they're meant to have like little sprinkles. So like for instance, Salt will have like white sprinkles of salt on the top of her head. Pepper will have little pepper flakes, um, and then they'll have like each one like black or white going up their feet, up their legs a little bit. So it'll have like a really cool, fun feel to it. I don't want a DM on So California. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I have such a good time with these. I need to keep pushing on them, and maybe I will some more at some point. Um, like we said, we've got shoot Flapjack coming along. He's got some progress to be made. With this particular character, I want him to be like a lot more streamlined. Sorry, I started off with the witch, and now I'm moving over to Flapjack. Very different, very different subject matter, but that doesn't matter. I kind of do just want to work on this now. Dang, you guys got me. Here, I'm just going to add a couple of subdivision levels and see if I can like sculpt this into the shape that I want. Let's get it kind of roughly there. Let's say AccuCurve. Turn off AccuCurve and kind of pull this up some. Give it just like, I'm trying to find like convincing ways to break the flow. Let me see if we can get this to feel a little bit better. In fact, what I might need, I have like the Geo brush. Here we go. For anybody who hasn't, we just turn off the dynamic subdivisions. For anybody who hasn't gotten the Geo form brush from Pablo Munoz, like I super recommend it. This is such a fun brush. It does such a good job at getting a nice clean crease in there. Just kind of smooth that out some more because it's not quite right. Just kind of inflate around it some, and that'll help to kind of close in that crease some. But yeah, for anybody who hasn't followed or checked out, I'm pretty sure it's still ZBrush guides. Pablo's just amazing. He is such a phenomenal artist, and he's very innovative. It's absolutely one of his very best traits. Um, so I would definitely recommend getting in and checking out his page. In fact, let me see if we can get to his page. Um, I think it's ZBrushGuides.com. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I was like, it's not showing up. What's going on? So there's ZBrushGuides.com. It's from my buddy Pablo. Phenomenal. He's got all of his resources in here. He has a ton of things for free. Um, different smart materials that are really, really fun. Um, so that'd be things for like Substance Painter, if I'm not mistaken. Digital Clay Pack is amazing. These are brushes for ZBrush that you can use. Different fiber mesh grooming kit. You know, like these. Just there's just so much that he does, and it's all so incredible. I don't see. I don't remember where it is that he had the Geo brush. It might not have been. Did he put it on a different page? Let me see. Oh, there's Pablo. Might be on 3D snippets. Let's say ZBrush. Because it seems like he did talk about. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember where it is that he had the where it is that he had that particular brush. So I'm not going to worry about trying to look for it, but you can kind of snoop around and look. He has a whole bunch of his stuff on here, and he's great. He's a fantastic resource, very skilled artist. And then there's me. Here, let's see if we can actually just kind of push this up. I just don't want it penetrating through down to the bottom here. All right. So with the egg, here's what I want to do. I want to say, let's delete lower. Let's get rid of half of it. Delete hidden. And I'm going to say control, click, and drag. And let's center this. Let's say, let's flip it around 180 degrees. Let's turn off the hat so that we can see under that. Here, let's say mirror. Oops. Let's kind of bring this over here. Just gonna try to like push it because like this is nice because this will get me a little bit of a variety in shape. I'm just trying to make sure that it's creating an appealing shape and that it's fitting on the surface. There's still kind of a little ways to go to make it so that it feels clean. That's actually not too bad right there. I like that quite a bit. The other side though, let's make sure that they're different polygroups. I do kind of want to make sure that I have some sort of, it's like you see I got like this curve and then curve down. I want to have it so that it's kind of like an offset sort of thing. I feel like that creates a little bit of a dynamic, just a dynamic flow. If that feels pretty good. Prashan! Yeah, getting hungry. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Always. Always, always, always. In fact, like with this butter, I probably need to make it so that he's got like a melted puddle of butter on his nose here. I'm not gonna worry about that too much right now though. I do. Here, let's do this just to be able to kind of add in a little extra something to his body. I'm going to create my. Actually, do I have this already created? Um, oh, dude, Prashant, your project from the other day. I can't remember what it was, but that looked awesome. That was so stinking cool. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. For anybody who's it was Enter the Dragon. It was Bruce Lee. That was amazing. That was so stinking cool. For anybody who's not familiar with Prashan, in fact, I can go over Instagram. Oh, this is a sad story, but yeah, like this piece fell over backwards or whatever, and it was just, hey, look, there's Prashan right there. I didn't even have to like look for it. It's like listening to me. So like, this is something that Prashan made recently. Um, so cool. Here, go check that out. Go check that out. Give Prashant a follow. So cool. And like his presentation style is just amazing. He does such a great job at showing process in a quick way. Like everybody else does like these full out time lapses. He does these very creative, like everything bouncing together sort of thing, you know? Like really, really neat stuff. The little Boy Scout is super cool too. Lots of fun stuff. Anyway, Prashan. Yeah, Prashant's been a good buddy of mine for, let's say, a couple of years. It's been a couple of years now. Yeah. In fact, you have a table at Lightbox this year, right? Let me see. Let's go ahead and kind of pull this around. I'm going to kind of start sculpting here a little bit, more or less. Yeah, because like at this point, it's all going to be about making things look like what it's supposed to be. Um, since we have things already kind of blocked in, now it's just a matter of making it feel like, jelly in the mouth or making it feel like Yes. You learn from the best. That's why you're here. No. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Just gotta have fun kind of building out this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this jelly. Okay. It's good enough for now. Let's maybe give this a little bit more of a footprint. I don't know if footprint's the right word for that, but those teeth are going to need to go down into the pancake itself. So actually, let's do this real quick. Let's rename this jelly. Yeah, I should be able to get away with just doing something like this. So that way it feels like it's kind of digging in. But maybe not. I don't know. I'll leave it. I'll leave it flat. I think that sculpting it up might be just a little bit too much. I do want the teeth actually going into the base though, so I'm just gonna kind of pull that down and in. Grab that, pull that down and in. Cool. So now we have teeth, and the teeth are connected to the face. Yes. Okay. Cause that feels better. I was worried that by pulling the pancake up and over, kind of working like a gum, so like it's like the teeth were. I just felt like that was going to create. Oh, you know what could be interesting? It could be interesting to have, but yeah, I just felt like that was going to create too much of a separation, and I kind of wanted it to feel like together, you know. Um, so there's a new brush, a new system inside of ZBrush. Here, let's get rid of the subdivisions. Just for the sake of being able to showcase it. Okay, I have the mask pen on. That's great. I'm going to put this here, put this here. There is a, what is that called? Slime? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's outside of everything. I think it's its own thing. Slime bridge right here. So you can see like we're getting like this really weird bit here. Let's say instead of 20 bridges, let's say one bridge. Oh, that's why I didn't want the capillaries. or the branches. There we go. So we're getting this sort of thing here. Maybe what we could do is we could put it up to like 2 or 3. Yeah, let me see. Let's maybe take it down. There we go. That's what we wanted. Right in there. And so now we can just go through and here we can kind of like thin this out. We could get like kind of a bridging from the top and the bottom. Go ahead and kind of mask that out. We'll take this, we'll say deformation, we'll say polish. It's like I wish that it would go more direct without me having to actually put it in place, because that's kind of a pain, but you know, whatever. Oh, I didn't realize that had AccuCurve turned on. I was like, why is it so? Okay, let's hit inflate some. So you can see like we're getting like this interesting like stretchy sticky detail. So I mean we could very easily create something like that. If I did, I would want it to be kind of more on the sides here or something. But the thing that I want to also consider is that this is going to be a little toy that's going to need to be printed. I wish I hadn't missed how you got that. So to be able to get that, it's this slime bridge bit right here. I just kind of I played with the bridges function. I just got rid of branches and capillaries because that got really messy. But yeah, the thing that I would want to be careful of, it's going to go between masks. So I think what we'll do, we'll kind of pull this back. Okay. Let's get these so that they are different polygroups. Oh, I got a white polygroup. Oh. I'm just going to kind of branch this out, or like push this out so that this is covering more ground. Okay, so I'll have it something kind of like this-ish. Pull that back some. Okay, so the way that this works is you grab, so you have your 2 different surfaces inside of the same subtool. You just mask it out, and you come over here to your slime bridge, and you can tell it to, go ahead and branch. That might be like too intense. That might be too many pieces. So I'm just going to lower this down to like 2 or 3. There's 3. That's working all right. Let's maybe take it down to 2 or 1. That works. Okay, so I'm going to say let's grab this. Just kind of like smooth it out. And then I'll also kind of try to move it into place. Oh, come on. Inflate brush. And just kind of like sculpting it around and trying to get something that we like here. I mean, we do have like the we could just do it so that it feels like it's kind of thinning out like the way we'd had it before. Definitely needs to be a lot thicker than this, but we can try to control the shape before we hit inflate. You see we're getting that kind of effect in there. I think that it's feels like really thin. And it also feels like it gets like a little bit too, I'll say fussy. It's like it's a cool effect. It's just one of those things that I feel like is a little bit too it creates too much detail in that small area. So I think for now, what I'll do, in fact, let's, instead of deleting that, let's say split hidden, so that way we have it. It's just not visible. Let's see. Let's make a bacon brush. We need to make some bacon. Let's see. Here, let's hit save so that we don't lose it. Because, you know, we do that sometimes. Let's say... Cool. Okay, Control-Shift-D. I'm going to say initialize. We'll go to QCube. I looks like he's got a beard. He's got a sugar cube beard. Okay. So what I want to do, let's flatten this out some. We don't need any resolution really, but so what we're going to do, let's get rid of, and let's make it all one poly group. We'll say insert, we'll get rid of this, and we'll get rid of this. Okay, so that way we still have X symmetry. For now anyway. What I want to do, let's grab this, and we will say, let's kind of extend this out. And what we want to do is we want to create a tripartite brush. We want this to be long enough in the center that it will create, I can create like a variety. And I want it to be the same, like this middle piece, I want it to be the same on the beginning and the end. So that way it can kind of like reconnect and work really cool. I want to make sure that it's thin enough that it's not going to be, crazy. Something like that, maybe. Thanks for the company this morning. I've got storm prep work to do. Well, thanks for coming and dropping by, Leonard. Stay safe. I'm very curious to know, like, how much the storm will actually affect us, but, I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so with this, I'm going to use the move infinite depth to kind of just, kind of move things around just a little bit. I want this to feel a little bit, yeah, better safe than sorry, for sure. I'm going to do something like this, this, and this. I'm not really particularly careful about where that's going to go. I'm just wanting to make sure that I am putting something in there. And then I just want to mask off my ends. More than anything, I'm just going to try to kind of add some variety here. Let me see, I don't like the... Let's do something kind of like that. We'll go ahead and invert this. Same thing, I'm going to use the move infinite depth so that I can get like a little bit of like a kind of a change here, but so that it's the same on the beginning and the end. And then I guess let's go ahead and Control A to be able to mask that out. And then we'll go ahead and we'll kind of add in some extra variety. Yeah, it was a class 4 hurricane, but that's a class 4 hurricane down by Baja, so it's, you know, it's supposed to fizzle out quite a bit by the time it actually reaches Los Angeles. Um, but yeah, I mean, so I guess, you know, we'll see how it all goes, but it's like Leonard was saying, you know, better safe than sorry. Okay, let's see, insert edge loop here, insert an edge loop here. Let's see, what can we do to make this feel a little bit more like bacon? I don't want the ends to be perfectly square, so let's do this. I'm going to say let's mask out that blue so that it's completely masked. And then I can do whatever I want to the actual ends. Ooh, that's already better. That's already better. Look at that. That's so much better. Cool. Okay, I'm going to call this good. Now, what we want to do is we want to turn this into a brush. Okay, so I'm just going to have it smooth smoothed out, smooth previewed out. Let's go ahead and say brush, create, insert mesh, say new. We'll call it the Baconator, SMA Baconator at some point. Let's say stroke. We'll say curve. We'll turn on curve mode. Now, what I want to make sure that I've got the curve steps. It's fine. We'll keep it like that. I need to make sure that over here under brush, we'll go to the modifiers. I need to make sure that curve resolution is set up to something. Usually I'll have it at 5. We'll test it out and see kind of how it works. We'll have weld points. We'll have stretch turned on. So now as we draw this out, we've got this nice long strand of bacon. Now this is not meant to be just like one stroke and done. This is something that is meant to be like you drag it out and then you modify things. It's actually quite nice. But yeah, so this is something that now we can take and we can use anywhere. By having the curve resolution turned up like we did just now, that allows us to make sure that we're getting a more smooth transition in the shape itself. Since we have such this like long piece here, it's going to kind of break it up along that curve. You see it's getting a little bit of a bend here instead of just being like direct. not perfect, but it's, you know, a little bit better. Here, let's see if we can turn that up a little bit more actually. Curve resolution up to say 10. It's sort of working. I think it's kind of rough getting it to feel quite right because there's because it is such a long strand in between each piece here. But I don't want to. Yeah, definitely taking care. Oh, you know what? This is going to be called eyebrows in the brush. Let's see. Let's rename this bacon. Say create insert mesh. We'll say append. Let's get this note until next restart. So now you can see it says instead of saying eyebrows, we want to just get rid of that one. We do kind of want to make sure that we're making the same thing here, but we'll delete that mesh so that we're down to the other one. Okay, all those things kept the same. Cool. Yep, so we're good. We'll keep that brush then. Here, I'll just kind of like bring this over as a brush, and then we'll say brush, select icon. It's not really wanting to select it as, let me see, say Control D, timer 2 here, select icon. There we go. Okay, let's turn that off. Brush, save as. I'm going to save it ZData brush presets, and let's title it SMA bacon. I had to save my bacon. Save your own bacon. Okay. Now he's got this massive scarf made out of bacon. Yeah, let's turn that off. I guess we don't really need to turn it off. We'll split it out here in a minute. Let's see, I need this to be thicker. And part of what I like to do sometimes when I'm doing this sort of workflow with hair, yeah, let's go ahead and say lock start, because I think that's going to be pretty important for making sure that the hair kind of goes where it's supposed to go. I do like to have that lock start turned on. I like to make sure that I'm thinking about scale and flow and all sorts of things like that. And I know this is bacon, but still applies. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I will create like a single strand. I'll commit it, and then I'll start to kind of use that one piece to duplicate around. Let's maybe make like a couple of strands. Just for the sake of happiness, I guess. It definitely feels like way too long. So let's kind of bring this up, grab the curve and kind of smooth it some. That'll give me a shorter piece to work with. Is it does it have snap to surface? It does have snap to surface turned on. I want that off. Okay, that's going to be a much nicer piece of bacon for me. So I'll commit this. And let's go through, let's say split hidden. Cool, that's already turned off. That's awesome. I do want this to be thicker. I want this to be chunkier. Bacon hair, yep. Let's go through and actually like color pick from the thing. This will just be like something rough so that it's just giving us a little bit of the look. But it should hopefully be helpful for us to determine what it is that we like or don't like or whatnot. Let's go ahead and say inflate just a little bit here. I might inflate some more later, but we'll have to see. And then this is kind of where I'd go through and kind of modify things by hand. No better way to process bacon than by hand, right? Something like that. So you can see now it feels a lot more like, I mean, it's still kind of weird, and it'll hopefully look a lot better once it's actually textured, but it looks better. It looks better. Kind of drag that so that the tip is touching the head. Say mirror. We'll kind of bring it up, maybe rotate it up a little bit, and then we'll kind of bring it down, and we'll rotate it around. It's like I don't want to have too much of the same in one spot. So I'm definitely trying to make sure that curves are offset. I don't want it to feel like it's the same thing duplicated around. I want it to feel very, each piece feel, you know, pretty unique. Okay, so here's what I can do now is I can say here, let's grab this whole piece, duplicate that out. We'll say mirror. We'll just kind of like rotate this around, rotate it around, rotate it around. You know, we're literally trying to vary this up as much as we can. A lot of what I'm trying to think of with this particular piece of hair, and I gotta make sure that I am off of here soon. Let me see. Let's jump over to the internet real quick and check on our calendar. Yeah, we've got somebody getting on. We got Anna getting on at 11. So I'm going to need to get off of here like quick. Here, I'm going to make sure that that's its own polygroup. This is kind of pull that out some. But yeah, I definitely want to make sure that I get out in enough time that she can go ahead and prepare her stream. But yeah, so I would go through and do that like a few times, getting this sort of thing. And then grab that, pull it over, maybe take it and rotate it around. You know, like I love just like pushing and pulling and really exploring how these pieces could go together, because there's so much possibility. There's so much happening. Let's grab this move elastic And and then with the brush, we'll go ahead and change the auto masking to topological, not by polygroups, topological. We'll just kind of push this into place. We'll take this and push it into place. So now we're getting like a lot of really cool variety. And I mean, there's still more that we can do to make sure that this feels very very broken up. You know, get this to maybe come up here or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to play around with it some more at another time. But this is like primo sort of stuff. This is awesome. Okay. I'm trying to decide like thickness wise if I like what's happening with it. I'm liking that. That's got some cool bacon bits going on there. This little bit right here could probably get like curled up. But yeah, lots to explore. Definitely something that'll be good to do and like continue on more uh, with the next stream. Oh, and it's like I'm getting into such a groove right now, and I hate it when that happens. I used to be able to just uh, it's okay. It's okay. Next week. Get some chunky bacon in there. Cool. Anyway, it started. It started. There's a lot left to do. We'll see how it goes. But you know, we got some of the main ideas going on in there. We still have like a lot of empty spaces to fill. Um, I still want to add some more variety to this so that it feels a little bit more controlled. Like we're getting like some really tight kind of curls in here that I really like. So we want to get some of that shape language into this, but you know that'll be kind of where we leave that off, and then this is where we left her off. So you know, lots of fun stuff going on. Let's get that hair and that hat turned back on so she's not bald. Um, so yeah, we got some stuff going on. We have got some stuff going on. Let's grab that. We'll grab Flapjack and pull him over here to the other side. With Flapjack, I'm going to need to make his head bigger. There's just no getting around that. It needs to be bigger, I think. Oh yeah, yeah. His face needs to be bigger. The hat feels like it's about the right size. There's some scale issues with the strawberry. It needs to be a little bit bigger and a little bit lower. Uh, but yeah, there's some shape things that need to happen in the body. There's yeah, lots of stuff. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. We'll get there. It'll be cool. Thanks. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I always have a blast, and it's just entirely too much fun. Um, let's just make sure that everything is saved because if it's not, then we're gonna lose it. Um, we'll pick this up again next week. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time I see you. Smartest out.